Becky Strahle.
Yes.
Welcome to the Revelation Wellness Podcast. I said it right, huh?
You did. You did.
I know they actually have notes here. Pronounced like daily.
Yep.
Strahle. That's a perfect. I have to do that with my name because people say, how do you say your name? I always say a house, a car, a dog, Alisa. So they get that it's just Lisa with an A in front. Yeah, it's super easy. So
it is a little tricky.
It can be. Welcome to the podcast Revelation Wellness, Becky.
Thank you for having me. I know you've been super busy.
Well, yes, but we've been excited. You, as I said in the bumper, you guys are coming in introducing. Becky is an artist. What would you say? Would you say artist or what? How would you describe yourself in your own language?
Well, I'm not trained as an artist. I'm not trained as a writer. I'm obedient. I'm just obedient. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. So you're in Nashville right now. Are you in Nashville? How's the weather in Nashville?
Well, we just had an ice storm, so everything is covered in ice.
Yeah, crazy. Some crazy weather. Does that kind of weather inspire you creatively or make you want to just, it does.
Oh, it does. Nature, the Lord really, really speaks to me through nature and beauty, and everything is just stunningly beautiful right now.
Why? So I don't know, when things are ice, are they just like clear, or what do you see when you look at an ice covered landscape?
Oh, it's just, everything's frozen in time. It's just encapsulated. All my pansies right now, I had pansies planted and they're all just frozen solid.
Oh, that's cool.
They're gorgeous. Pine cones, frozen solid. It's just beauty.
Okay. That's cool. I can get a
way of looking at it. Yeah.
See, I live in the desert. We never see anything covered in ice. I'm like, okay, now that you explain that to me, my brain went there. So Rev community, some of you may or may not know this, but I'm a big beauty junkie. Beauty and wonder. It's one of the ways that I feel that I can stay well in my soul. Otherwise, I just get stuck in my head. I need to get into my soul and wonder. And so that's why we wanted to have you today, is to kind of, we'll get to that point of just pull us out. You already drew me in talking about like frozen in time and seeing this ice landscape. Yeah. Cause some people could probably leave their house today in Nashville and just be annoyed by what they see and miss it. Right. How often do we do that?
I don't have to leave, so that helps.
That does help. Yeah, you don't have to scrape the ice off of your windshield and take a good 20 minutes for the thing to defrost. That's true.
That's it.
All right. So mercy and grace to all of you who are like, oh, I can't stand the ice.
I wouldn't want to drive on it. No.
For sure. So tell us a little history of you, like being obedient. I think she's written a book, you guys, talks about the story of leaving a very kind of successful or predictable role and career to come and be an artist. Will you tell people a little bit about that?
Well, I had a really successful stamping business. I stamped cuffs, leather cuffs, and I did that for many, many years. And it was just overwhelmingly successful. And I just
how did you fall into that? Like, how does one say, I'm going to stamp cuffs, and then it takes off?
Yeah, I took a class, and I used to live in Minneapolis, and I took a stamping class, and this was before cuffs were kind of a thing. And I went all by myself. I just felt led to go to this. I love words. And so I went and I learned how to hand stamp jewelry. And so then this is before cuffs really were out there. And so I was like, this would be really cool on a bracelet or something. And so I figured out how to take leather belts and to make them into bracelets. And so I made them for myself. And then all my friends wanted one. And that was right at the beginning of Instagram when I joined in. And then just people started sharing them, and it just took off.
Wow.
It was a big deal. It was a lot of work. I stamped. Yeah, I had a helper that helped me stamp, and we were busy, very, very busy.
And you did that for how many years?
10, 11 years. And then the Lord told me to lay it down. And I was like, what? Because I was wrapped up in it. Like my identity was very much.
There it is.
Yeah. I'm kind of a workaholic, kind of an all or nothing kind of gal, and very purposeful. I have to have to-do lists and checklists, and it kind of ran me. I hate to say that, but it did. And so laying it down felt like, how do I do that? How do I let that go? But he knew what he was doing. Obviously, a few months later, my dad died.
Mm.
And so I was in this season of quiet for a reason. I didn't know what was coming because we didn't know he was going to die. And so I needed that time to grieve and for him to unfurl. That was my word, of the year, unfurl. I had a very distinct vision of, well, I heard it. I heard this snap, like a sail when it opens up on a sailboat. The wind takes it and it snaps. I heard that sound, and he gave me the word unfurl. And that's exactly, and at his funeral, the tent that we were sitting under did that.
Wow, that
snapped. And my mom grabbed my hand because she knew that was the word for me that year. And
wow,
it was just amazing. And so he just slowly filled the sail and showed me what to do. And he brought me into that love letters season where I wrote love letters. And it was just weird because my people didn't really know what I was doing. I was doing something completely different.
Explain love letters.
So for 2.5 years, I had a subscription box. And every month the Lord dropped a word to me. He just gave me kind of a theme. And I didn't plan these ahead of time. He just, through nature and through painting, a lot of times I would have a dream and I would wake up and I'd paint the dream. And then he would give me the words later. And they became these love letters. And so I had subscribers, and it was very much listening, being honed in to the Holy Spirit and just being Spirit led. And it was hard to be honest, because I didn't want to get in the way. I wanted to really give this an open hand thing, that he was doing. And so I did that for 2.5 years. So people had only bought jewelry from me, and now I was painting the jewelry, stamping the jewelry, writing a love letter.
And would you put the painting on the cuff?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
I feel like now I'm like, oh, I've seen this. Does Honey Holden, do you?
Oh yeah. Honey's one of my biggest cheerleaders.
Yeah. Love Honey. Hi, Honey. Shout out to Honey. I don't know if she listens, but love her.
Honey. I love her.
Okay. So you made the cuffs, the love letters, and then you did, and
there was art with it too.
And it was a word that you felt like, I did see that. And then you did that for how long? Or are you still doing those now?
I did that for 2.5 years.
Okay. And then what? Why did the Lord tell you to stop doing that?
Well, you'll find out.
Yeah.
Okay. So, first of all, someone approached me to do a book, and I'll be honest, I didn't want to. I felt like it was a big distraction. It seemed like too much work. I felt vulnerable, and like I wasn't a good enough writer. I felt like putting myself out there in the world. I'm not a Bible scholar. I was like, they're going to tear me apart. You know how the Christians can be the worst, right? And I was like, I'm going to just open myself up to a bunch of criticism. And it was just scary. And I through the whole thing, through the book proposal, I kept thinking, oh, this isn't going to happen. And that'll be okay. And I won't have to do it. And then it just kept going farther. I was like, okay. And I almost backed out so many times. I'm not even kidding, just because of fear,
Yeah.
And I don't like to do speaking things. And I don't like, I'm like everything that they would want you to do as an author. I'm like, I don't want to do any of that. And I actually had a conversation with Honey, and she's like, that's kind of a pride thing. You are getting in the way. Yeah. She's like, you're getting in the way of an opportunity the Lord is bringing you. And by being insecure, that's you. It's prideful. And I was like, oh, snap. Okay. And I am like, no, okay, then I'm just doing it. I'm going to do it. If it comes to me, then I'm just going to do it. And so
it kept coming.
It's coming. And so I was in the middle of working on that. And then Revelation Wellness came. And I jumped on board with you guys and did the training to be a, personal trainer, which was so weird because
right. You're like, what am I doing?
What am I doing?
How many times we hear that? Yeah.
Yeah. Because I had no intention of actually becoming a personal trainer. I was like, this is really weird. And I'm really busy. I'm writing a book. My business is still going.
Yeah.
And then I went through your study about Nehemiah.
Yeah.
And and it just zinged my heart. And I was like, that part where they took a sabbatical. I just read that and I was like, oh my gosh, like every little fiber in my body just, you're supposed to do that. And so he had me lay down the love letters in a complete act of obedience from tell me why that didn't happen. Why did I
Yeah,
accept
it
that? That's
happened.
why.
Sorry about that. Sorry, not
It's
sorry.
okay. It was so good because I had probably read Nehemiah years ago, but I hadn't read it
Studied
forever.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
And it just touched my heart. And I was like, and I had felt that nudge before, but I just ignored it, because who can just walk away from your business,
Mm-hmm.
So I put it down, didn't touch cuffs for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the book launched and all of that. And now I'm kind of like, what's next? I'm still in that kind of waiting. And I know he's got something, but I am in that uncomfortable in between,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Your book is
yeah.
titled Seeing God in the Sweet Ordinary.
Yeah.
Correct? And
yes.
who's that book for?
Well, it's definitely for me.
Yeah, there you go. That's true.
For me, but for everybody. It's for everybody. I wrote it based on for years ago, I did a blog and I was walking through depression. My girls were little. We were living in Minnesota, cold, dark, just blue, struggling with every day. And I started just picking up my camera and writing what I saw and looking for the things to be grateful for.
There you go.
And he changed my perspective. And I just started seeing him in everything. Like there were life lessons in every little thing. Mm-hmm. And so that's where the Seeing God in the Sweet Ordinary came from.
That's who the book for. So the book is for someone who needs some eyes to see, right? Like kind of goes back to, do I see a problem getting to work in the ice on the ground, or do I see the beauty of a frozen pine cone and a frozen petunia? Wow. So true. So then Becky, what do you do, Becky, to like keep your fuel of wonder going? And like, because I know I'm trying to put I always, when I do these interviews, I'm listening for our listener. And I know that there are people who struggle to even really acknowledge beauty, want to see beauty. They don't think they're an artist. Someone told them you're not creative. And so they kind of miss that whole side of who God is, because God is creative. God is beauty. What do you say to them?
Don't try so hard.
Wow. Great.
Yeah. Just stop trying. For me, taking a walk. That's so good. It's just like, how can you not see beauty? I mean, it just comes to you. If you just go out into nature and you even attempt to look for it, it's there. I think you just have to ask for eyes to see, and he will open your eyes to see it,
That's a good word. You guys, and just for the listeners, there's so much research behind this of a healthy mindset, brain, a soul, and even blood pressure going down, that when you can look around and like look at your expanse and take it in, we were created in a garden. We were created in beauty, and to neglect any type of input of that is really to live a half abundant life. So I love that idea of going out for a walk. I try to get out of my office once a day to just go for a walk. Not, hey, I want everyone to hear this. This is why we do our walking the words of Jesus and our walking prayer. Walking, not running, because when you're running, it's moving too fast. Yes. And that's nothing wrong with running. I mean, the joy of the Lord, it feels great. Do that. But we get kind of myopic when we're running, our vision gets narrow. But if you go for a walk and you look up, every time I go for a walk, I will find birds sitting in a tree, teeny tiny little birds that I would have just walked right by and never paid attention to. And we just had John Tyson on the podcast, and he's like, yeah, this is like, bird watching itself is a whole spiritual discipline, just to watch it. Like your heart will expand as you begin to consider the lilies of the field and the birds in the air. It does connect us to God. So I love that.
And kind of seek it out. Like I have 5 bird feeders in my backyard because I am inviting those birds in because they bring me so much joy. I mean, there's nothing happier than to listen to a bird sing.
That reminds me, a friend of mine bought me a bird feeder for my birthday like a few years ago. And it was like this big yellow, it looked like a big yellow sock that you
Yeah.
hang. And I put mine out, Becky. Nobody came. Nobody came, not a one thing. And I finally got tired of looking at the yellow sock. So I threw it
You
away.
need to put out hummingbird food. And I'm sure you see
Okay.
hummingbirds in Arizona.
Yes, I do see
That's your
hummingbirds.
bird.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
you were probably appealing to wild birds, and I don't know what kind of wild birds you have in
I
Arizona.
think she's in her backyard. She lives in a different part of town, but her backyard, she's known for like not turtle doves, but the loving birds or these little
Oh,
peachy head bird. Anyway, I
yeah,
don't have those. I live in a different area of town and I just don't think, but you're right.
yeah.
I'm gonna go on Amazon
Hummingbirds,
after this and buy a hummingbird
do it,
feeder.
do it. You're
Isn't
so
it?
lucky. You can probably have them year round, and ours disappear in the winter. So.
They're gone.
Mhm.
All right. So when God called you, there was this statement he said to you about following him. He said this statement, you will do it without applause or affirmation, and you will do it when no one seems to get it.
Mhm.
What was that like for you to be like, you're not going to get affirmation. No one's going to see it. What
Yeah.
does that mean? And why would God, doesn't sound very kind.
No, I think he wanted me to just do it out of obedience and not for applause, not for, because I was making good money. Financially, it felt really good to be successful. And I had people that worked for me, and I loved the interaction with customers. And I knew initially they weren't going to get this new thing, because here I am trying to be an artist when I was a jewelry, it was a shift in direction. And so,
Mhm.
and I think for me, I like affirmation. I like people saying, that's great, you did a good job, and then buy my stuff, and it just makes you feel good, right?
Yeah.
He wanted me to lean in on him and trust him and just do it because he told me to, not for any other reason. And because of that, there would be fruit. Maybe I wouldn't see it right away, but the seeds were being planted, and I was just
Yeah.
following through with what he asked me to do. So,
Yeah. I think I'm learning something from you of like how wildly obedient you are. Do you ever get to this point now? Because it sounds like God keeps, he's
mhm,
done something and you do it, and then you take that, he takes that away. And then there's the
yeah.
next thing. Do you ever get like, why am I going to start something new if you're just going to take it away? I'm just asking the honest question.
Yeah, I know. I, it's true, but I feel like, okay, so there's a story in my book called The Faithful List, and it's about how faithful God's been to me, and I kind of keep like a tally of all the things he's done, like answered prayer, unanswered prayer, actually, too, that worked out beautifully. Oh gosh, ice coming off my roof.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So for me, he has shown up so many times in my life, and he is so faithful that I just have this enormous faith in him. I just trust he's trustworthy. So whenever he asks me to step back or lay it down, I know maybe I put it too much importance in it. Maybe it became an idol. Maybe it became something unhealthy. I got out of balance, which is really easily for me to do. Really easy for me to do. And so I know it's for my good. And he's preparing me for something even better, because that's how good our God is. He's just good. He's faithful.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Can I ask the question of when it gets to those moments, though, when he asks you, if you're to step back and just observe your life and kind of like take inventory, are you lacking joy in it? Are you stressing? Are there signs? Because to me, idolatry, there's signs when I have an idol. I'm
mhm,
stressed out. I'm trying to hold it.
mhm,
I'm trying to I'm not
yeah,
actually getting joy anymore from it. I'm
yeah.
actually been over invested in it. Would you say those are the marks of things that happen? Because in my mind, I'm like, or are
Mhm,
you absolutely loving it? You're flying on high nine and like, this is the best thing. And then God takes it away. Because that doesn't sound
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I definitely was both times that he asked me to lay it down. It was becoming something I had to do instead of something I
There
wanted
it
to do.
is.
Yep.
Ding, ding.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. That is a mark, you guys. That's for anyone, and no matter what you're doing,
Yeah.
whether it's like you're doing the whole 30 and it started out, you enjoyed it, but now it feels like
Mhm.
laborsome and you feel chained to it and you feel like you're measuring it and whatever it just becomes. I love that about God. I love that idolatry is so obviously death, right?
Yeah.
Like he says it in Deuteronomy, choose life, death. I put it before you. And life, I find, and then maybe it's just part of the artistry in you, but a risk taking and trying new things actually speaks to me in a creative way. Because if I've done it before and I'm still doing it, the kind of the artistry in me kind of goes away. That's why I tend to be a person that creates, gets it going, and then I can pass it off onto someone else that goes, oh, I love being the technician of this. I love doing whatever, the day-to-day of it. So I don't know if that resonates with you at all.
Yeah, I love, I don't know how people can paint the same thing over and over again. Like, some artists, they find their niche.
They love it. Yeah.
And I'm wondering if for them, it's just what's worked and what's been successful. And so they're kind of trapped in that, like imprisoned in that a little bit. Because I can't imagine painting the same bouquet, just a teeny tiny bit different over and over and over again, unless it just like filled me with joy. And I don't like to repeat things over and over. And that's what this last time was. It was repeating things with the painting.
Yeah. So could you look at me? I'm redesigning your business. So maybe next time you just oversee it and you create ideas and you have apprentices who do like.
Oh man, would that be lovely?
Hey, anything's possible with the Lord. I can't help it. I scale everything out like bigger. Like, what could you do with this? But
I've never figured out how to scale this out. I've tried. I don't know how to do it.
Oh, come to me. I will help you. Are you kidding? That's what Revelation Wellness. Look, that's how Revelation Wellness started.
It's
where
true.
I was one me teaching in my one little gym. And I'm like, there are many people in the world that need this. How do I make this available to everyone across? So anyways, well, that was good to hear because I think some people might hear it like, oh gosh, God takes away good things. No, he only takes away good things that become our God things.
Right.
He'll take that away. He'll go, I love you too much to give you less than my fullness of me. So what's up next for you? I know you said you're in a liminal space, but what do you think's next?
I'm praying about another box, which feels a little bit disobedient because I said I was going to lay the cuffs down, but I don't think it is disobedient because it keeps coming back to me and back to me.
There you go.
I have thousands of pieces of leather left. I have such inventory, and I just feel like I want to be a good steward of what I've put this money into and like what he's given me. So I feel like I'm not quite finished yet, but it's going to look different. It's going to, instead of all of them being so laborious and hand painted, they're going to just be like one word. And then there's going to be a candle, which we just created a candle line. And then there's going to be prompts.
Oh, I love that.
A creative prompt, an exercise prompt, because I think the two work together, I think, in order to it's mind, body, and spirit, and I'm excited. There'll be like a little devotional letter with a theme, like a word that we're supposed to like really ponder on for like 8 weeks. And then there'll be scripture that we memorize.
That sounds amazing. So that's different. It's different than what you did before.
Because before I was doing these love letters, just a word that the Lord had given me. What I'm hoping is that I will prompt others and that they will get a word and that they will share it with their people. And so it won't be a love letter from the Lord to me, which I shared with them. It'll be something that I prompt them, and the Holy Spirit will give them the word, and they continue to share that. You know what I mean? They create, they write, they move their body.
Amen. What does Honey Holden say? Does she think you should do it?
Of course. Honey and I are getting ready to go we're getting ready to go on a road trip, Honey and I.
You are? Where are you going?
We are. Yeah, we're going down to Round Top, Texas. We're doing
just to hang out?
No,
or a speaking engagement
thing, and I've never done that ever. So we're jumping in a car.
Oh, you'll be great. Tell her I said hello. I love her. She's my.
You knew her.
Oh yes, we know each other. We're Instagrammies. We're friends. So, Let her know for sure. Well, I love that she's going to light your fire to say, keep going, keep
Oh
going.
yeah.
Okay. And if you just, I'm going to do like a, what's the word? Gratuitous. I'm going to put myself in there. Send me a cuff if you do it. I want to see.
Oh,
I've
no,
always,
I will.
I have to say, cuffs are definitely something I've always been drawn to before cuffs were even that popular. Then they got
Yeah.
really popular for a while because of Wonder Woman.
Oh, I
Just
know, right?
that's like they're powerful. They're like,
What would you want your word to be?
no, I'd have to think about it. If I
I
had a
know
word,
the word's important.
if I had a word right now, tender.
Tender?
Sounds weird. Sounds like the dating app Tinder, but
No.
yeah, just
Sounds
tender.
like a
Like
heart position.
it's that whole try softer and just softer.
Yeah.
Maybe my body's just becoming that over time. It's just
Yeah.
softer and it's good. So I feel like the Lord's just reminding me of that all the time right now. It's good.
Tender. Okay.
Well, this is amazing. I think you definitely should do it. And especially since Honey says you should do it.
Well, she's probably got more cuffs than I do, and that's saying something.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So,
saying. I remember her showing her cuffs like monthly or so often.
oh
She'd be
yeah.
like, here's this month's cuff. I'm like, wow, that's such a great. And that was before you came through instructor training.
Yeah,
So
oh yeah.
see, somehow it was already kind of coming around
It
because I
was.
thought it was a brilliant idea. I really did. And I
Uh,
did think to myself, how does that woman create so many over time? Because it's such detail and
it was a lot of work. It
yeah.
was a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, then we bless you into a new season where the work is light, the yoke is easy.
Yes.
Amen. He
Amen to
wants to do
that.
that. But
Amen to
people
that.
still need words and people still need to the Jewish people call it encoding, like where they wear their hats and their seats and their shawls and they got the phylacteries, like they wear their faith, not as a
Mm-hmm.
look at me, but
Oh
it's a reminder everywhere. They have the Methusas on the door when
yeah.
you walk in, and there's all this continual visual representation of who and what they serve. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm never against it, especially for people that are
Mm-hmm.
creating unique things. So you're definitely doing that. All right, you guys. All right, we have three fun little questions as you go. We ask these of all our guests. First one, favorite way to move your body?
Walking. I
Walking.
absolutely love to walk. I
Me
just do.
too.
Nature. Back to nature.
Well, what will you do on a cold day? What happens when you're inside and you can't get out?
I have an elliptical machine
There you go.
and I do weights. So I'll do
Yeah.
the elliptical machine for like 10 minutes and then I
Yeah.
get bored. And so then I do weights. So I have like a little circuit that I do.
Can I ask you, why do you move your body?
I think survival mode. Now I'm turning 50 this year. And
Mm,
so for me, it helps with depression.
yes, ma'am.
I struggle a little bit with anxiety and depression. And so
Yeah,
I just noticed that I feel
it's true.
so much better if I just make myself do it. And I have to make myself do it. It's never something I want to do, which I want to get
Yeah,
to the point where I just
yeah,
jump out of bed and run out there to the garage or go on my
yeah,
walk. But
yeah.
it's
I get it.
survival for me. And it also really helps me creatively. That's why those prompts, I want to put
Yes.
exercise prompts in there because I think my brain fires whenever I
Yes,
am walking or I just have the best ideas
that's right.
and it's worship, you're praising and worshiping and
Mm-hmm.
it's just an act of worship back to the Lord.
Amen. Love that. Love that. Your favorite, like, if you're gonna work out, what are you gonna wear? Go.
Oh,
Go
I
ahead.
I roll out of bed basically in my jammies.
There you go. I
I'm
love
not
that.
cute. I'm not cute at all.
That's perfect. I think I even a while back, I don't know what I did with it, but I created the pajama workout. Like it's literally roll out
Mhm.
of bed, 10 minutes. Here's what you can do. You don't even need to have a bra on. Like
No.
just go.
Yeah. I actually, because I'm super lazy with the bra thing, I actually have like a band thing that I wear sometimes. It's just
Yep.
like this, I shimmy into it
There you
just
go.
so I don't have to worry about taking I'm so lazy. I don't even want to take my shirt off to put my bra
Listen,
on.
it's called limbic friction. As much as you can remove the emotional friction from the thing you don't want to do it. Whatever you got to do.
Oh, that's good.
And then coffee, tea, or kombucha. What's your go-to?
Coffee. I do
Coffee
love me
girl.
some coffee.
Love it.
I like tea though too, not kombucha.
I like tea. I like tea with a little bit of oat milk in it. It's a good time. Good time right there. But
I like
I'm
chai
probably
tea.
chai tea. Now you're talking my language if I'm gonna have
Yeah,
tea.
that's real good.
But I'm a kombucha girl. Hands down.
It upsets my stomach. I don't
Really?
know. Probiotics, and I don't agree.
Well, sometimes I've heard sometimes they say it's because your body's like has to go to war to get the probiotics in. I don't know, but I understand.
I really need it.
Yeah,
that's why my body doesn't like it.
Well, all right, you guys. Well, go follow Becky on Instagram at Farm Girl Paints. Her beauty is being made over there. I don't know daily, but often. So check it out over there. You keep your eyes open for love letters. I think that's going to be amazing as it returns. And you can go get her book right now, probably Amazon, right?
Yeah. Or you can come to my website, farmgirlpaints.com.
Farmgirlpaints.com or on Amazon, Seeing God in the Sweet Ordinary. It's lovely. Becky, thank you for being here with us. We're inspired to go find some beauty.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Peace.
Thanks for watching, and remember, this video was brought to you by Revelation Wellness Instructor Training Program. Do you love Jesus and have a passion for fitness and wellness? Or maybe you're tired of the roller coaster of obsessing over and neglecting your body, and you know there has to be more to fitness. Let us equip you to lead others to health and wholeness rooted in Jesus Christ through our faith-based fitness instructor training program. Go to our website to learn more and listen to testimonies of people just like you who are bringing hope and healing to their communities as fitness teacher gospel preachers. Click the link in the description of this video and download a packet to get your journey to health and wholeness through Christ started today.